Hi, hello, good morning. It's been a while. Last night I finished Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn. I'm sure I've spoken about it in my vlogs, but I read Legendborn, which is the first book in her Legendborn cycle series. This is the second book. I read it last year at some point. Legendborn was my absolute favorite last year. So Bloodmarked, the second book in the series, came out at the end of last year in November. So I picked it up, I think beginning of December is when I ended up actually getting it. And it did not disappoint. I read a bit of it in December and then I finished reading it this month. I finished it last night and it was one of those books where I had to literally distract myself doing other things because I knew I would spiral over the fact that I can't read the next book for at least a year until it comes out. Something that started happening while I was reading this book was that I started getting not flashbacks, what would you call that? Visions sounds very exciting. I just started getting those little kind of snippets that you get as a writer from your own stories. So I kept getting snippets of how Kanan and Amaya from my Between the Waves book reminds me of a couple of the main characters in this book. I started having like these visions of scenes that I wanted to write for Between the Waves. So I figured I'd start a writing vlog. It's shortly after 7 o'clock in the morning. I am going to try and write for about half an hour, but in a little over half an hour I have to leave for work. So I'm gonna try and do some writing because there is a scene that I want to get done between Kanan and Amaya, based off some dialogue that I thought of last night. So I want to try and write the scene around that dialogue and start working on that. And then I think I've charged my tablet and I think I'm gonna bring my tablet to work. I've done this before when I've been traveling. I'll bring my tablet and then I'll write on my tablet. So I'm going to bring that so that I can do a bit of writing at work when I have my break. I'm also gonna start a new book because I need to dive back into something. I can't just leave. I can't just stop reading after the cliffhanger of Bloodmarked. So I'm gonna read A Curse of Roses. This is by a debut indie author from Toronto. Her name is Maria B. Moses. I met her on social media, saw she had a book, bought the book. That's what you do, you know? So we're gonna start reading this one. We're gonna write a couple scenes. I've been feeling better about the structure of Between the Waves, but I think we'll talk about that a little bit later. So yeah, well, welcome back. I wanna do some morning writing and then head to work. Hi, it's Friday night. I think I started this vlog on Wednesday, but I didn't do any writing yesterday. My work days have just been very busy and very stressful lately, so I just didn't really get the chance to do any writing. But again, I've done a lot of thinking about my stories, which is something that I've, come to learn is also beneficial. So tonight, it's Friday night, it's 6:30-ish. I think first I'm gonna watch Katie Wismer's new video because she just put out a book release vlog, and usually I find her videos very motivating. So I'm going to watch her video and then I'm trying to decide if I want to jump into Between the Waves or if I want to jump into Project Raven. I had a fun idea for Project Raven that I really want to write, but I also really want to read where I left off my most recent draft of Between the Waves because I was having a think about it today, and I know I've been going back and forth about the plot quite a bit, but I think that the plot that I've settled on and that I settled on in summer last year is actually still the plot that I want to stick to. I think it makes the most sense still. That's what we're doing. I'll keep you updated. So I came back from the cafe. I got a good almost 4,000 words done. A big chunk of it, to be fair, was stuff that I had already written for a previous draft that I kind of just pulled over and then did some editing on. So very happy with that. I would like to hit at least 5,000 words into this new draft by the end of the night. So that means I'll be doing some more writing later on. For now, I need to do a little bit of kind of getting rid of things. I have a bunch of books that I am going to bring to the little library. So we have these like little free libraries around the city. I feel like multiple cities have them, but I know Vancouver does for sure, where you basically take your books that you no longer want and you put them in this little cupboard that's like out on the street, and people can come and take books they want or donate their own books or like do a trade. And it's just a really nice way to kind of donate your books to something that you know is going to be beneficial for people. So I need to donate these books, and then I also have to go through a bunch of the pots that I have, like the plant pots, because I have an excess of plant pots, which is fair. They've been very useful, but I don't need all of the ones that I have, and there's been a couple times where I've gotten some like from someone and they've given me a lot more than I needed. So it's time to pass those on. So I'm going to collect all of the plant pots and things that I don't need anymore, and I'm going to post them in the Buy Nothing group to see if anyone is in need of some plant pots, since we are getting towards spring. So that's what I'm going to spend some time doing, and then I'm going to jump back into some writing. I'm hoping that the lighting in here isn't so awful that you can't see me at all, but it is Thursday night. I'm gonna get ready to go to bed soon, but I just wanted to finish off the vlog since I want it to go up tomorrow. It's kind of been yet another hectic week at work, so I've had a lot of like mental energy go towards that this week and didn't get quite as much writing done, but that's kind of just gonna be the reality of a lot of weeks, especially when I work like a regular 9 to 5, I guess, and I have to leave the house to go and come back and work like a straight 8 hours, and I can't really spend all of my energy focusing on writing, or not all of it, but at least more of it than I am now. But I just have to get used to the fact that that's kind of how it's going to be for at least the next little while, and it's okay if I don't necessarily get a lot done when it comes to my writing one week, because the next week might be better, and if that's how it's gonna go, then I might as well get used to it early. I did, however, get the chance to go through and kind of not really edit my manuscript, but sort of do an inventory of what I have in there up until this point. Just for reference, it's been probably 3 months. What month is it? It's probably been around 4 months since I really looked at this manuscript. So that means that I don't really remember a lot of what I wrote. I don't remember where I left off. Just to kind of get myself back on track, I decided to do an inventory of what was already written in there so that I could have a better jumping off point when I start writing again. So I basically went and used the 3-act 8 sequence structure, which is kind of a plot structure to follow that is followed very often in screenwriting for like feature-length films. I like the way it's set up. I'll leave a link to the page that I was looking at down below so you can check it out. But I basically went through and filled out the first 2 acts and kind of just tried to get an idea of what was going on. So I tried to make sure that I wrote everything that I could remember happening in each act, in each sequence. I rearranged a couple things, but nothing major. And I stopped before getting into Act 3, but I pretty much know what's going to happen in Act 3 very well. The ending hasn't changed as much as the rest of the book. And I'm feeling really hopeful with how the plot is set up right now. I am pleasantly surprised with how well things are actually fitting together. So that's exciting. I think I'll probably take a couple more days to kind of step back from the story, or not like step away, but rather try and look at it with a very like general bird's eye view, I guess, before deciding to really dive back in and start the actual drafting, or continue the drafting rather. So that's where I feel like I'm at. Yeah, not many words well, probably a lot of words, but I wasn't counting because I was kind of just doing plot stuff. But lots of clarity coming through this round, so I'm glad that I've been doing this. I'm gonna end the vlog here because I need to go to bed. But thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to smile, and I will see you in the next one.